So is Diablo 4 Vessel Patron the answer to returning to Diablo now? Are you going to be playing a lot more Diablo after this?
I mean, I was already kind of playing a lot of it already, but it's okay. Uh, they've reworked some of the like late game stuff, and they didn't explain it that well. So that kind of threw me. It's harder now. They added 10 more levels, and they scrunched the levels from because you used to go to level 100, now you go to like level 60. So it's just like WoW again, I guess. Uh,
So why change? Why lower it 10 levels? That doesn't kind of make sense for people. I think. If you
I think they added more to the Paragon system. That might be the one that like the thing that's like uh bringing it back up a little. Uh,
okay.
but I mean, I beat the campaign in 2 days. I was
Oh
really
wow.
kind of surprised, and I wasn't like playing like super, it wasn't like 14-hour marathon sessions or anything. Like the
Yeah.
campaign is actually kind of short and kind of unfulfilling because they live in a big ass cliffhanger. It's like I guess I'll come back to this for the next one.
Yeah.
Uh, it's good. I mean, I didn't play the new character, the new class yet. I think Spiritborn is what it's called because I just wanted to focus on my stupid ranger or rogue character. Uh, it's still good. I still like it. They added the big repeatable thing is it's called the Undercity of Kurast. It's like this like timed thing. You have to like clear three maps and quickly. Like you can't like there's like a time limit, and then at the end you face a boss. But they're like modifiers you can like buy or use to like if you need something specific to drop, hopefully you can get it, but probably not. At least in my case. Uh, so yeah, it's good, but if you're like Jens and already kind of wrote Diablo 4 off, it ain't gonna change your mind.
Yeah. So there's like just the change in level, the change in. Is there anything like drastic that they changed for people that maybe were kind of soured on it from like in Yen's perspective, or
No, because he doesn't really have a good perspective other than he doesn't like playing it or whatever. And it's like, well, okay, like maybe you pick the most boring class, and you don't care about like getting better loot, so of course you wouldn't like it. They kind of simplified like the upgrade system a little because they added this like not originally, but like halfway through Diablo 4, like 6 months ago, they bolted into this like material system where it's like, oh, now you have blue, yellow, and orange crafting materials to upgrade your gear. I think they just squished that down to like just the yellow ones now, which is good because I couldn't
okay,
get the orange ones last time. They added something called rune words, which is actually something from like Diablo 2, I think, where it's not like the gems, but there are like specific runes that you can equip in your chest, unfortunately. But it's like, oh, it's like they're basically like modifiers where it's like, oh, if you spend 50 resource points, you can use the necromancer's scream or the barbarian's charge or stuff like that. That's kind of cool, but I don't know if that's like the biggest like game changer there is or anything, but it's an interesting mechanic. Uh, it's just more of the same. Like they added a whole new, region, and that was okay. Even
yeah,
though it's just like a jungle themed location. It's not like that.
right. That's what I noticed with the new
Yeah, it's like
class or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, they're like, it's kind. I mean, it's not. It's like a almost like the witch doctor from I think Diablo 3 or
Yeah,
you know I biggest problem with Diablo 4 to me is I personally don't like the look of that game, like the whole aesthetic. And it's funny
why do
because
you
like
say that?
I actually kind of like the cartoony look of Diablo 3, or I
Wow,
like it.
you would be in the minority because people
Yeah, I
wanted to
know,
kill the
but I like that Diablo 3 was kind of a bright game,
right.
and Diablo 4 is just mired in darkness and brown. And it's like if I wanted to play an Unreal game, I would play an Unreal game, or like an Unreal Engine game. Like it like Diablo 4 to me is just aesthetically boring. And it's like, yeah, okay, it has good looking shadows, or like the light
Mhm.
sources look good, but if it's just if it's just showing the same shit, who cares? At least like Diablo 4 or Diablo 3 rather had like heaven. That was like a very distinct looking area for that game, and this has nothing. It doesn't
Yeah.
have the secret cow level, like, or at least no one has like figured out how to get to it if it does exist. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's like bereft of secrets, or there's like a few things here and there, but it's just like so either time consuming or like not worth it. It's like, who cares? Like I didn't even I saw a few of these, but I couldn't figure out how to get to them. But I guess there's like 30 new shrines in the new area,
Mhm.
like that grant you like, oh, if you get all 30, you get a new mount, which is kind of cool. And you get like stat increases if you find them, but they're like all puzzle kind of based. So like the one
Okay.
one I found was like, oh, there are 3 light sources and a fourth is kind of busted, and I couldn't figure out how to like. I was looking around trying to find like the busted fourth part, and I couldn't find it. And after like 5 minutes, I'm like, all right, fuck this, and just going on my way. But I thought I'll probably follow a guide to like just get all that crap, and that'll take me like an hour or two, and
Right.
that'll be about it. I found at least there was one quest at launch that was bugged, which is cool. They did fix it at least, and there was one funny boss encounter where it was like instead of like unstoppable unstoppable cow or whatever stupid boss names they have, it was just like
Mhm.
percentage missing percentage, all in caps. Like they obviously like something got fucked up in the prefix naming thing. So I was like, well, that's kind of funny.
Right.
And I've had a few instances of like graphical issues, like placeholder graphics instead of like the real one. Uh, but it's fine. The launch was kind of screwed up too because it was supposed to launch at like 7 p.m. and it launched at like 1
I
a.m.
saw that too. It like they kept delaying the launch to make sure that all the regions launched at the same time and
Well,
all
they
that
claim they
stuff.
claim it was like a technical reason, but it's like,
Right.
yeah, okay, just no.
It's interesting going like I'm really far into that Play Nice, the Rise and Fall and Future of Blizzard that Jason Schreier put out last
Which
week.
which is funny because you're not a
Yeah.
Blizzard fan.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still like to read just to, for history of gaming and that kind of thing. That they, you're talking about how much you actually like the Diablo 3 aesthetic and how much people did not like the Diablo 3 aesthetic and said they ruined Diablo because of it. Um, and
I
it's
mean,
yeah,
I think that like people have this idea, or Diablo 1 and 2. I don't know about Diablo 1 that much. I have very very vague memories.
right,
Diablo 2 was like a super dark game,
exactly, yeah,
and it's like, yeah, that makes sense kind of for the time because that game was like fucking 1992, or I mean not 92, like 1999 or something,
hmm
or 2000. So they couldn't do a lot of like colorful graphical effects or a ton of.
yeah.
I mean, think of games at that time like Unreal and like Unreal Tournament was like it was kind of bright to an extent, but like very dark, generally dark levels and stuff like that. So when Diablo 3 comes out, 13 years later, you say, hey, we discovered a brightness setting and we can actually make this stuff look kind of good now. But then
Well,
people had
it's
such.
partially because like it was always the other side of Blizzard because the first two Diablos we got Blizzard North, which is was originally a
Right.
different company, and then Blizzard Irvine, the ones that make Warcraft and Starcraft and all that, they actually liked using that brighter palette. And
Yeah.
then when they had all the turmoil with Blizzard North and that company was gone, the actual artists that do Warcraft and stuff were the ones that kind of helped on Diablo 3. So that's why it has that brighter palette over. And I
Yeah.
guess they,
It has
yeah,
Diablo 3 definitely has a more cartoony aesthetic.
yeah,
And it's like you don't have to like you could look at it as like a spectrum, like a range. Like you don't have to go
right,
all the way like Diablo 3, but like Diablo 4 is like the going drastically the other way. And it's like
yeah.
there can be a happy medium here somewhere,
I
You
think
could
they
have
just were trying to make sure that they didn't after the whole Diablo Immortal BS
Right.
stuff that they went through, it's like I guess they wanted to make sure that Diablo 4 didn't have those issues with aesthetics and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm glad that you are enjoying the game. That's the important part, regardless of whether I'm sure it would be nice to have Jens to be able to play with you.
No, because he'd just be bitching nonstop about it. So I'm happier on my own, actually. I did do
No,
the
fair enough.
there is one kind of cool thing. One of the things they added was like a co-op dungeon, or like almost
Okay.
like a raid, kind of, where you got to do it with another person, at least one other person.
Mm,
So like you go, like one example is like, oh, yeah, like there's like a door and two switches. So one
okay.
person has to stand on one switch, the other person goes through, they stand on their switch, and then you can go through. So that's like a simple thing,
Yeah.
but what like the boss for that thing is like nuts, because it's like, okay, you get it down to about you take out about a third of its health, and then it becomes invulnerable, and you're like, okay, what do I do here? And there's a big portal in the middle of the room. One person has to use the portal, go into the spirit realm, attack the boss there, like his spirit body, and
Mm,
then you get two of these. You unlock like the two waystones, and then you get like part of his spirit, and then you have to like use the portal. Well, the other person is still in like the material realm, or like the real world. They have to activate the portal so the other person can come through, and then the other person, they put the priest of the spirit in this big machine that makes the boss vulnerable again. So it's like
oh
that
wow.
is a very interesting mechanic, and also like I'm not communicating with these people. It's not over voice chat or anything. I just kind of intuit it out. Or I'm sure
Right.
like as people do it more and more, like it'll become a lot more second hand or second nature to them. But like one of them was uh another boss was like we attacked it and it it became invulnerable, and there were all these like little rooms around, and we had to like go through the rooms and activate the machine to like make the boss vulnerable. But the boss was like walking around and eating souls, and when it eats the souls, it would trigger like a berserk timer. So after like 30 souls, it would berserk and then instantly wipe us out.
Wow.
So one
Yeah.
person, my partner at the time, he had to run through the rooms and like basically make the boss vulnerable. I had to follow the boss around and kill the souls before he could eat them,
That
because
sounds
that
like
was my
fun.
yeah, that was my job. And it's like it was cool, like it's a different
Right.
mechanic for Diablo game, because most of the time you're just hitting the boss over and over. So I kind of applaud him for doing more of that crap.
Yeah, it makes you have to like work as a team
Yeah.
more than So that's great in that way too.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully they will
Uh,
add more stuff to it then at some
yeah, it'd
point.
be nice, because it's also funny because they have the big store system, or the store crap, and it's all like the most like boring shit you can imagine. And like it doesn't really refresh that much in the game. I kind of actually wish,
Right.
because I bought like the expensive version of the game, so I have
Yeah.
like 3,500 platinum or something. And it's like I kind of wish there was like an online store where I could just look at everything and see what I could want, instead of like the four crappy months they have in the store right now. Because I know they got more somewhere. So
Well, I'm sure they will improve that with time when they see
yeah,
people. I'm sure you're not the only one complaining if it's not great.
I don't know.
So,
That store makes them a bunch of money, so people don't complain that much apparently.
yeah. All right.